Welcome to the Hanley Effect, a podcast by the Hanley Foundation designed to educate, change minds, and save lives. Our goal is to inspire you, showcase our innovations, and change the conversation about addiction and mental health. Join us as we unravel stories of resilience, recovery, and hope.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Hanley Effect. I'm John Dyben.
I'm Rachel Docekal.
Dr. D, how are you doing today?
You know, I'm feeling really positive today.
I am feeling really positive today as well, especially right now.
Right now.
Because we have a really cool guest.
We do.
And, people dedicate their lives to a lot of different things, right? And there are a lot of noble things out there. But our guest dedicates his life to positivity.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a lot of different things. He's an artist and a life coach, and he's a motivational speaker, and he does a lot of different things. But I'm really excited to hear about somebody who has everything is about positivity, especially when that's not what life has given him his entire life. So we wanted to say hello and thanks for being here to Bruce Brackett.
Hi,
Welcome,
guys.
Bruce.
Hi. Thank you so much
there.
for having me. I really appreciate it. It's nice to officially meet you both.
That's right. Exactly. So, I've given just a little bit of a snippet, but we don't want to hear me talk about you and your life. We really want to hear about you. So what we'd love to do, we always ask our guests two things. Number one, would you talk about who are you and what do you do? But then even more important to us is whatever you're willing to tell us about your journey, what brought you to where you are and what you do today.
My favorite topic, me. I love that. Wow. Okay. Well, hello. My name is Bruce Wayne Brackett. I am on a journey of sobriety and wellness. And as you guys stated before, there's a lot of positivity that I advocate for. However, it did not begin there, as I don't think it begins there really for anyone without the darkness. So there was a lot of darkness in my life that was, for lack of a better term, gifted to me, and I had to navigate and find my way out of that. But there was also a lot of darkness that I put on myself that I chose. Self-sabotage, addiction, falling through the rabbit holes again and again and again, trying to get sober and hitting rock bottom each time. And eventually you submit to the amount of pain that you want to deal with in your life before you completely surrender and decide, you know what? I'm actually going to live the full potential and the purpose that I may not yet see for myself, but I know is there. So I'm going to choose me anyway and just start to show up and do that every single day. And that is not without its stressors or its traumas or its heartaches. Life happens and it's about what we do with it. So a few years ago, I decided to get on social media and just start sharing my journey. And it's amazing how it has bloomed into something that so many people can relate to. And it started to make me realize, oh, there's a key ingredient here. Maybe this is my in on becoming a motivational speaker. And it did exactly that. And from that, I got 2 book deals. How to Breathe While Suffocating was my first book, a memoir that was published 2 years ago. And my second book, Up and Shimmy, comes out this month.
Oh, I love the
that.
second one. Yeah, that's great. It's so easy for our listeners to see somebody like you where you sit today. So accomplished, positive, living your best life. Talk a little bit about the journey part and how you really dug yourself out of that hole and got to where you are.
The journey was rough. It's not easy, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It never will be, and it's not about that. It's about what do you really want in life. And I chose the hard journey. as opposed to the worst journey, because I could have chosen to stay stuck. I could have chosen to stay in addiction, which is way harder than taking a hard journey to get out of it.
Great point.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if we have enough time to talk about the journey. It's heavily detailed in my published works. How to Breathe While Suffocating is exactly what it sounds like. There was a lot of suffocation that was going on in my life from from the beginning of my life, being born into detox from drugs and alcohol, being the first 3 years of my life being raised in a very abusive home, to being removed, put into foster care, later on being adopted. And shout out to my mom and dad, who are absolutely amazing, that adopted me, were able to provide me with a lot of therapy and love and everything I needed to start the journey. So my journey really began from the very beginning. And it, growing up openly gay in Montana, did not come without its hurdles and mountains to jump over. But here I sit, and just one thing that I really want to point out about the journey is, yes, I chose and continue to choose to move forward in my own life for my better potential. I didn't do it alone. There were so many therapists, counselors, friends, family, help, police officers, probation, juvenile detention, it wasn't a very pretty picture, but in that darkness, I choose to put a lot of vibrant colors in my own journey, and I'm able to make something dark actually become really beautiful for myself. So yeah,
Thank you.
the journey is something that I don't do alone. 12-step programs. I'm still in therapy, have been my entire life, and I advocate that therapy is not just for the crazy ones or the sick ones. It is for anyone who wants to grow.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. You shared just what I was hoping that you were. Those words are going to be such an inspiration to our patients and our families, and of course our professional staff who, day in, day out, really are so passionate about doing this work. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love the context. You said right from the bat, you said, for lack of a better term, I was gifted some pretty dark things, some hard things, some rotten things, right? And I actually, we've never talked before, but that's very much language that I use, right? That all of us have been given gifts. We've been given gifts of love and grace and mercy and kindness that you described, but we've also been given, whether it's betrayal or abuse and the idea of being healthy is that you don't get to choose what gifts you've been given, but you can choose out of the gifts you've been given, you can choose what you want to grow and what you want more of. And I've always thought that the way it grows is by giving. Whatever you give away is what's going to grow. So if you give away the kindness, the grace, the mercy, that's going to grow. If you give away the abuse, all of these things, then that's what's going to grow in your life. And that, message that it takes, it sounds like you're describing a whole team of people, and you had to make the decision to be on that same team, that you're going to find those positive things that you've been given and give that away.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's easier said than done when bad things are happening to you in the moment. We don't really think of it as a gift. Really, why is this happening to me? Please God, I'll never do it again. All of the foxhole prayers that I'm sure all of us have said at one point or another. But it's about the perspective that we really want. And I've learned enough in my life that when something hard or turmoil happens, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? I reverse it and I say, why is this happening for me? Because there's something here. There's a lesson here. How am I going to show up and shimmy for not to shout out my book again, but that's what it's about. It's about the changing of the mindset and the perspective and being able to show up and push through those obstacles so that we can lead the life that we really deserve.
Tell us a little bit about your new book.
It is all of my social media content wrapped up in one. It's a love letter to those who feel like they are lost. It's a forgiveness letter for those who feel like they're not worthy of self-forgiveness or being forgiven by others. And it is a fundamental tool for myself of everything that I've learned in my journey from therapists, counselors, doctors, inpatient, outpatient rehabs, the systems that be, everything that I learned in that journey and have applied to my own life and how it's worked for me. So it's kind of a step-by-step, hey, this didn't work, this did. Let's go down this road together and see where it leads us.
I love that.
So I was thinking the same thing. What does it mean to shimmy?
Yeah.
I know the dance. But
Right.
what is it? What is it, right? There we go. Oh, man. I just want to say this. If you are
Love
listening
that. Oh,
and
you gotta go on
you're
and
not, right, if you are not watching, so when you get a chance, we have just seen a great shimmy. That's good. I can shimmy.
Yeah.
I'm
All
not
right,
very
we're gonna
good. I
shimmy.
can't really do it.
Yeah.
But
Yes, you
as-
can. Yes, you
Okay.
can. See, told you. Yes, you can.
I have just shimmied, so feel free to check that out.
This, Bruce, this episode is going to go viral because Dr. Dyben is shimmying.
There we
I love it. Yes.
So tell me, what does it mean in your book's context, in that life context? How do we shimmy as people, especially people we're all wounded.
Mhm.
We're at different places in that healing from that woundedness. What does it mean to shimmy?
That's a really great question. Showing up and shimmying for yourself is simply self-care. It's self-love. I find that there's a lot of points that I want to make about this, and I'll be very brief about it. But showing up and shimmying is doing your best, doing no harm, and doing for yourself every single day, so that you too can eventually do for others. If you're not able to do for others right now, that's okay. That just means that you need to be doing for yourself, and eventually the rest will follow. It's not caring about other people's opinions and really putting your journey first so that you can blossom and live the potential that is there waiting for you. Everyone, if we sit down and if we're in that beginning stage or even in the middle stage of our own journey, which a journey is not linear, there's no destination, it's just always ongoing. But if we're in any part of those points in our journey, it is really about doing the next right thing for ourselves. And what does that look like? So many people have come to me and they've shared, oh, I'm not living my purpose. I feel like I'm not where I should be in life. I feel like I'm behind. I wanted to be a Broadway dancer and I've kind of put that dream on a shelf, or I wanted to be a doctor and I'm just not smart enough. All of the excuses that we can give ourselves in avoidance of reaching our better potential. That's what show up and shimmy is. Let go of what it is that you think you know and just show up and start and live as if, because that better version of you that we so desperately want to become for ourselves is already there waiting for us. And it's about us getting out of our own way, showing up, doing the work anyway, scared, unsure, not confident, but just start, because that's the perfect launch pad. That's what can propel us into what it is that we're meant to be. My partner, Teo, he was the one that actually pushed me to get on social media and to just start this journey. And I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. It was like, why in the world would I do that? That's absolutely crazy. And God forbid someone sees me be authentic and share some really dark, embarrassing stories about myself. And then there was something in me that was like, well, just do it. do it anyway. Who knows where this is going to go? And it went places. So
I love how you said live as if.
Yeah.
Live as if.
It's interesting, I know you're used to doing very kind of soundbite things, but this is where that becomes really, really useful, because you just put it in a really brief soundbite what I, as a therapist, would take 2 hours and would lose everybody to explain. But that idea of living as if, that very first thing you said, I just want to re-emphasize it also. It is the first part of shimmying is do no
No
harm
harm.
to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, that is such it's so simple. We've all heard this idea of do no harm, but just taking a pause and taking a moment and saying, where, if I really live by that right now today, do no harm to myself. That first part of
profound.
it is profound and a game changer. So I hope that people take and just listen to everything you just said, and that sound bite, man. So many powerful things. Do no harm to yourself, living as if, and doing that even when you feel afraid. And that was the other thing it wasn't, don't be afraid. It was,
Yeah.
you're gonna.
The other thing that I love is, I mean, you're tremendously accomplished. You are, I'm sure you get recognized on the street. You're famous. I love that your partner encouraged you to do what you're doing. And, that's a good message to all of us. Sometimes those who love us encourage us in directions that maybe we wouldn't see for ourselves or have the courage to pursue on our own. And for our listeners to hear that you needed that encouragement of anybody, that's empowering and validating for them. Thank you.
I still do. I still do need that encouragement. I do not have this figured out. I am not a first time winner. I have many moments where I still doubt myself, and I'm so grateful for people like Teo who can fully see me, even though I may not be able to see the full picture. But just that support. If we have one person, that's all we need. We don't need a plethora of millions of followers, or in our real life, we don't need 55 friends who are going to be there. If you have that one person, and that person can be yourself, if you have that one person, you are wealthier than the richest person on earth.
So well said.
Yeah. Amazing.
So how, and it's funny that you would talk about that you don't have that all figured out yet. I'm always, I'm always curious how, people who, because you're probably perceived by, people, if they just watch your videos, would think you've got it all together, and the same thing is true of therapists, and there are other people, like, but we are all, right, still journeying. So
Yeah.
how do you deal, what's it like when you find yourself in those moments? So I think about this, the people who are listening, who are actually really, have a lot of success, but they, how do you, when you find yourself going, ugh, I'm not doing well today, or I failed in this, or I am as negative as can be. How do you deal with those moments where you feel like you're not where you want to be?
Yeah, I love that. I sit in it and I allow it to be real. Because I spent so much time running from that, and by running from that, I would drink, I would use drugs, I would escape in any way that I could, just to avoid that uncomfortable feeling of like, crap, maybe I messed up here, or I'm not good enough, or all of the lies that my brain is so good at telling me. Um, I sit in it for a little while, and I allow it to be real, because that feeling presents itself. That feeling is real. It doesn't make it a life sentence. It just makes it, okay, again, not why is this happening to me? It's why is this moment right now? Why is this thought happening for me? So where do I go from here? Um it it there's a lot of radical acceptance that needs to be done when we're on a healing journey, for sure. But there's also, don't get comfortable in being, okay, well, that's as good as it's going to get, so I'm just going to stay comfortable here. Stay uncomfortable and push through, keep going. Nothing in my books are revolutionary, or things that it's I'm a genius and I came up with all of this. No, again, a lot of this has come from professionals like you, who have come before me, who have held my hands literally and helped me walk forward in my own journey. But also, something that I love, this quote by George Adair: everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear, so keep moving forward and you will get to everything that you've ever wanted. So when I'm in those dark clouds, when I'm in that negative mindset, I choose to push through. And eventually I realize that I'm no longer in the storm. I'm where it is that I wanted to be 5 days ago, and then I see
Yeah.
that I'm in that place that I wanted to be. And then that's a motivator for me to keep going. Oh my gosh, what's next? It's
It
exciting.
it really is. The picture that just came to my mind, and let me say, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. All
No.
of us, every therapist who helped, right, learn something from somewhere. But Bruce, you do a great job of articulating these things really simply in a way that, like, I feel it, and I know that people can hear it. So even though these are things that all of us are recycling what we've been given, you have a real gift at being concise, clear, and really genuine. And one of the things that when you were talking about, when you gave your
Thank you.
answer, you're welcome. But you gave your answer, and you said, well, first of all, I spent all this time in my life running from that feeling, and so I don't run. And then you mentioned, but I also don't stay in it forever. And I picture somebody on, like, a really long, long journey across a country, and it's a long race, and they might find themselves one night having to stop and stay somewhere, and they're like, you know what? I'm bummed because those people are ahead of me, or I'm not where I want to be. And in that moment, you're saying, it's okay. Let yourself be there, let yourself feel it, but don't stay in that place. Take the next step, get some sleep, and the next morning you move on. And both of those truths are so important. You do a fantastic job of laying it out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I also just want to touch on something you said at the beginning about the 12 steps. One of the most important things here at Hanley is the 12 steps. So we have excellent clinical and excellent medical, but we really feel that what brings it all together is the 12 steps. How were you introduced to the 12 steps?
Well, I realized that I was imploding in my life, and my life was not going well. For it always says, um, admitted to ourselves and to God that our lives have become unmanageable. And I think unmanageable is a really cute word for it, because it was not. It was not unmanageable. It was Hurricane Bruce. Just no, it was really, really bad. And like I said at the beginning, I only want to be as sick as what I'm willing to sign up for. And when we start to just get to a point where enough is enough, I just started asking for help. And I went to the Addiction Institute of New York when I was sobering up from hardcore drugs, and that's what pushed me into the 12-step programs.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah, it definitely has been life-saving. I would not be here today without any of the guidance from the Addiction Institute or from many variations of 12-step programs that I've gone to and currently still go to. But again, I'm not a first-time winner. There's been many relapses. There's been many like, oh, I've been sober long enough. I've got this. I don't need that. And then go back out and rinse and repeat,
Right.
basically. But yeah, I think that even for people who are not in the program of 12-step programs, who think it's a cult, blah, 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 I thought all the same things myself. However, the 12 steps is a very simple way to live a life that is happy, joyous, and free. And I really believe that everyone could use a program like that, whether they have addictions or not.
Yeah.
It's really, really amazing how it's impacted my life.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So we're coming to our last minutes.
No.
And it does. It feels like, right. It feels like we just started,
I
like,
know.
and we did. But there's a few things, eventually what I'm going to ask you in a minute is we love to let our guests have the last word.
Mhm.
And so I want you to think in a minute. I'm going to ask you, what is one thing that you would like for our audience to hear, one message from you today? But beforehand, I think that I'm pretty sure that people are going to want more, to hear more from you and about you.
And where they can get your new book?
Yes. Show Up and Shimmy.
Yeah.
That's gonna, that's gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So John and I are going to be shimmying all day here.
We're
now.
gonna be talking about.
I wish you would. I wish you would.
We're gonna actually get some shimmying videos.
We are.
started.
So, Bruce,
I've
let me
got it
just
right
tell
here
you,
for
we
you.
are almost finished creating a recovery bookstore and cafe.
Oh,
They, should be opening in middle of the year 2026.
congratulations. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
so I'm really excited to hear that you're coming out with a new book, and something that we definitely want to carry in the store.
For sure.
So
I
show
would
us
love
the book.
that.
Show us the book.
Show
Sorry
us the
about
book,
that.
and then tell our, for those, because some people are just listening. Where can people find more information about you, about your work, about your books?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, again, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed speaking with you guys. And my book, Show Up and Shimmy, right here. For those
Love
of
it.
you who are not watching, but you're listening, it's a beautiful green cover with lots of glimpses of shine and joy. And the reason why I chose it to be green is to symbolize growth. Show Up and Shimmy comes out March 24th. It is available for pre-order right now everywhere that books are sold: Amazon, Walmart, Target, Wiley.com. Wiley, my publisher. Shout out to you guys. I love you. Your independent local bookstore, I highly recommend go support your independent local bookstores. They are incredible, and it's available on Audible as well. So anywhere that you can get your audiobooks. What was the question? Oh, and more. My website, bwbart.com, and I am bwb.positivity on all social media platforms. So Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube.
Perfect.
Yes. And
Yeah.
those are fun channels.
Yeah.
And now Bruce Wayne
I've loved it.
Brackett. And that's a whole nother conversation another time for the Bruce Wayne. I want to know the whole story there. But for now, what you get the departing word. What is one thing that you would like to leave our audience with today?
I love this question, and I mean it from my entire being. for you who are listening, one, if you haven't heard it today, I want to remind you that you were greatly loved and there are people out there that are very proud of you. Even if you don't believe that for yourself yet, that's okay. Keep going. Eventually you will. And two, no matter where it is that you come from, no matter what it is that you might have done or what you have experienced in your life, you are worthy of self-forgiveness. You are worthy of that love for yourself, and you are worthy of showing up and living your greatest potential and leading the life that you desire and dream of. That version of you is there waiting for you, and they are so proud of you and waiting for you with open arms. So keep moving forward because you are doing a fantastic job, even if you don't believe it for yourself right now. Just keep going, and eventually you will see that light for yourself.
Couldn't imagine a better word for today.
Amazing.
Bruce, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to read your book. I'm honestly going to listen to the audiobook, but I can't wait for that. Dr. D, thank you. This has been a blast.
This was wonderful, Dr. D.
I agree. And to everybody who's watching or listening, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time on The Hanley Effect.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us for the Hanley Effect. To learn more about our programs, visit hanleyfoundation.org or call 844-502-4673.